Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks, and somebody sent me these banner shapes, and they own a plasma table, but they're having trouble cutting them out. But this would work for a plasma cutter or laser engraver, either one. This is pretty small. The whole thing is only 11 by 8, so I'm going to Control D and make a duplicate of it because I want to keep it for later to make another one. We're going to pick this one right here. So what we want to do is make sure the item is selected before we crop it. Because if you don't have it selected when you crop it, everything else on the page will go away. So let's just do that. This time I don't have it selected, and I go to crop, and look what happens. Everything on my page is gone. So let's go forward to get my copy back. Okay. Then I'm with it selected. Go to your crop tool and crop that out. And now you've got everything. Now this is small enough to trace, but we can make it a little smaller and make it a little easier for Corel. We only really want that head. Now I still have everything selected, so we're good. Now this is pretty small. It's only 2 by 2, which is to our advantage to make it smaller for Corel. I'm going to go to resample. It's still only 72 dots per inch. Let's make it 300. Let's go to Bitmap and convert it to Bitmap and make it black and white. Relatively okay. Let's zoom in here a little bit. And see these lines right here? This is why I decided to do the video. These are actually real banners on some wood, and these are cracks in the wood showing through the banners. But that can be remedied. So let's go to Trace Bitmap. Yours will probably be here, Trace. I always do Outline, Trace, and Clipart. And that's pretty good because it got rid of the black. Your new copy is going to be on top. It's almost invisible. So we're going to right-click, Outline. We're going to bring in a yellow box. I call it the yellow box trick. To make sure there's no white there, we're going to go to Object, Order, Back a Page, and you can see the white. We're going to go to Object, Group, and Ungroup. We're going to get rid of the white by left-clicking No Fill. And I actually moved it. So whenever you see something move, be careful because you want it back. Now we've gotten rid of the white background. We still have a black eye, but we can do the same thing there by left-clicking. We're almost there. We just need to fix a couple of things. This is garbage. Take your shape tool and just select it and delete it. Now we need to join this because this is where the piece was coming through. With your shape tool, just grab all these nodes and bring them down like to that level. Actually bring these over a little bit. Take your virtual segment delete key that's underneath the crop tool and just delete these lines. The ear is a little bit more difficult because we want part of this ear because that's going to be a hollow part to fill out. But we don't need it all. Let's take our shape tool and bring this shape up into this other part of the face. We can grab both these nodes and probably move them up one at a time or whatever. Take the virtual segment delete key and just swipe a line through there. Now that's going to have to be fixed, especially for a plasma cutter, but it's not a problem. With the shape tool, let's just virtual segment delete through there and see what happens. Now we need to join those nodes. They're broken, but we don't have to. I'm going to show you why in just a second. We're going to take this part of the ear and just bring it up. Virtual segment delete key. Now, here's the key why we don't have to join those nodes. We're going to use the Smart Fill tool and fill that in. It will join all our nodes. Let's make the yellow a little bit bigger now. And let's left click, right click. Now, that node is no longer broken. Now, for a laser engraver, this might work right here. I would mimic the ear a little bit more, because remember we changed it. If you have 2000 and, I used to say 18, I'm beginning to wonder if 17 doesn't have the smoothing tool. We're gonna make it smaller. I think the smoothing tool actually came out in 17. I need to research that before I make my next video. You want it just a little bit bigger than you think you do, click on your item, and then just smooth it out. Especially for a plasma cutter. Nodes are your enemy. Plasma cutting and laser engraving is completely different. Plasma cutting is super hot. Plasma like the face of the earth, the sun. And if it stays too long in one spot, because it's going from node to node to node, it's going to burn through. So if you do not have the smoothing tool, you can move out the nodes that are in between the other nodes by just manually doing this. I'm just grabbing the nodes that are in between these two nodes, making the line. And you would do that all the way around, especially right. Sometimes when you're zoomed out, you can see more than you can see zoomed in. There are 3 nodes right there on top of each other. We definitely don't need those 2. You know, you're going to change the picture a little bit. Now, if you have the smoothing tool, you're way ahead of the game. I'm going to make it actually bigger now, because we don't have any lines touching or close. Now, when you're doing this, you're making the edges not as sharp. Especially for a plasma cutter, this is going to be very beneficial. If you have a sharp point, see, like there's 2 nodes right there together. Let's get rid of one of them. We don't maybe need that node, and we don't. We might not need that node. The plasma cutter is going to whip around there and be very helpful. You don't need that node. Now on a sharp inside point, I would grab the shape tool and make this a little bit more of a curve. Let the plasma cutter and a laser engraver, it's going to help you too. Just get rid of some of those nodes you don't need. My delete key is close to my, now like on this sharp point, let's grab these handles and just make it a more smoother transition. When, especially in a plasma cutter, if it's going from down this line and it has to immediately turn around, it's not going to be as pretty a cut. Now it will be sharp, but sometimes you don't want a sharp item on the edge of something. Now if this is going to be cut out of another object, then you need to think about which end your sharpness is on. But see, there's 6 nodes in a spot that doesn't need them. And also, as a laser engraver, it's going to give you a smoother looking item anyway. So that's how I would do it. And I'm going to do one more video and make it one I have not done. But as you can see, I've done 2, and and then you can, Mr. Plasma Cutter, the person I'm doing it for, you can make them as big as you like, just by grabbing the item and sizing it down, sizing it up. I mean, this is only 17 by, he said he had a 4x8 table. You could cut this out, 48 by 48 if you wanted to. Anyway, I hope that helped them a little bit. Thank you for watching.